Today we will start building our pond. If you like to watch heavy equipment operate like I do, then this video is for you. We've got a real expert here. This fella has put in a lot of ponds and he really knows what he's doing. We cut down a lot of trees here at this pond site and he's removing all the stumps now. I load them on my truck here, all the brush and all the stumps, and I haul them down below to our other pond and dump them over the bank. Some parts of the video here I'm speeding up just so you can see a lot of the action and not have things move too slowly. But I take my little tractor and push everything over the bank. There's going to be quite a lot of material that I'll be bringing down here. Now the previous owner had built a pond on that same site 30-40 years ago, and at some point the bank gave way and the pond emptied out, and over the years a lot of big trees grew up in this area, and so we cut all that down and pulled out what we could with our equipment. And now the excavator's here and he's taking care of business. There's one of the big stumps that he'll be loading in my truck with his excavator later, but I can get all the small brush taken care of. I bought this 1998 Dodge 3/4 ton pickup several years ago. It has this nice box that was custom made for it, and that truck has been so handy over the years. It's still a good machine. Alright, back to the project. This is probably the biggest tree that we took out of here, and it's got a pretty hefty stump that he's pulling out right now, and he'll drag that stump across the pond and push it up on the bank. He's got everything going to a nice handy area where later on he can take the big stumps and load them into my truck. My son owns this nice piece of property, and it's on a south-facing hill, and this original pond that was put in all those years ago served as a retention pond. Where we live here in western New York, we get quite a lot of lake effect snow off from Lake Erie, and so there can be winters where we measure our snowfall by the foot rather than the inch, and so in the springtime there's quite a lot of runoff, and if we get a real warm spell in the spring that comes on too fast, the water runoff can be devastating. So our operator here is taking care of skimming off all of the topsoil and all of that brush. That's step one here, and when he pulls out a stump or a lot of brush, he'll push it up to the top. All of this material that he's taking off here, he's going to push way over so it's on the back side of the dike. I didn't take any pictures of the what the pond looked like before we started, but my son and I were up here cutting trees and pulling the logs out with our tractors for a couple months before the operator was ready to dig the pond. So we got a nice early start in March or so, and so we had a lot of this stuff taken care of before he got here. This is a Case D40 tractor, and it's a compact tractor, but the lift capacity on this machine is tremendous for the size of the tractor. And we bought this nice grapple, which has come in quite handy for all kinds of work up here on the hill. We've cut some nice cherry and maple logs here, and we're able to load them with this grapple. Alright, here we are. Now he's back with the excavator. I've loaded out all the small stuff that I can handle, and now he'll load on the big stumps for me to haul down below. These stumps are really heavy, and he's pretty careful when he sets them down into the truck bed there. Now this summer here in western New York, we've experienced a drought. It's been very, very dry, and here we are mid-August, and we have gotten a little bit of rain just lately, but it's made it dry, so I'm able to drive the truck down below here on the edge of the field to the dump site. It takes a few minutes to drive down to the lower pond and turn around, and then I'll back out onto that dike and dump right on the dike, and then take the small tractor and push it over. The last trip down, I got right to this corner, and when I turned to turn around, there was a hen turkey there with a whole flock of little babies. That was quite a sight. Okay, here we are backed up on the dike, and got a nice electric hoist in the truck here, and off they come. Some of these bigger stumps I take the tractor and push them over right away so I don't get too much material build up. Alright, so back up to the pond site, and looks like he's got things mostly cleared out here. He's starting to push a lot of material up to make the dike. Years ago I drove a small dump truck for the county highway department, and I've always gotten a kick out of heavy equipment and watching people operate the heavy equipment. Like I said before, this fella here has a lot of experience, and he's one of the best operators I've ever seen. Here I bumped up the video speed 4 times so you can get an idea of how he's starting to make that dike there. It's late afternoon now, and you can see the long shadows from the trees at the site, and he's still pushing earth. You can see that there's still quite a bit of that black muck that he's pushing, and he will push that right over the back side of the dike, get that material right out of the way. And we're starting to see the clay appear, and that's what we're looking for to line this pond so that it makes the pond waterproof and the water won't leak out of the pond. There's a good shot right there. You can see the clay on the left hand side, and he's still working that muck up out of there. You can begin to see he's down, well, he's getting some water in there now, and as he works in that material, it'll keep getting juicier and juicier. That heavy muck really makes that dozer work. And you can see now that things are getting pretty muddy down in there. We'll just keep working off the edge there so as not to get the dozer stuck. Well, my son just arrived. He's finished his work at his regular job, and
See you guys later.
he and a couple of his buddies have shown up here to check out the progress. Alright, so now the bulldozer has done all it can down in that mess, and he's using the excavator to just scoop all of that mud, throw it up on the bank, and then hopefully we'll get some nice hot sunny days to dry that stuff out, and then he can come back with a bulldozer and work it around. Well, I wasn't able to get up to the pond site on the morning of the 3rd day of work here, and when I arrived he was all done and he had left, and I'm quite amazed at how well he was able to finish the site after yesterday with all that slop that was in there. So he's got things looking pretty good here, and now he'll come back in a week or two probably when things dry out and do the finish work with the dozer. I'm doing a 360 pan here so you can get an idea of what it looks like around the pond. This is looking up the hill. There's a nice pile of topsoil. He'll probably spread that around when he finishes. So I'm very happy with the job that's been done, and I'm sure glad that I chose this fella to do the pond work. Great job.